Day 4 of NFL free agency is ongoing. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. with you from Chat Sports live on YouTube. Ravens fans, not great news that we have to break down for you guys right now. You thought Za'Darius Smith was back? Well, not so fast. Just moments ago, Ian Rapoport of NFL Network reported that former Packers pass rusher Za'Darius Smith is not signing his deal with the Ravens after all. Sources say he remains a free agent. More information coming in on this, Chase, but instant reaction to him spurning Baltimore in a reunion with the Ravens.
Yeah, look, it was an exciting move for Baltimore, bringing back Za'Darius Smith. He obviously fulfilled a need there as an edge rusher with a defense that is locked and loaded, ready to dominate in 2022. And I still think that can be the case even if Baltimore loses out on Za'Darius Smith. I like the signing originally because you put him on that defensive line with Odafe Oweh coming off the edge, experienced player, younger player. Then on the back end, I think you might have the best secondary in the National Football League with Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, and then Marcus Williams, who signed that $70 million contract in free agency a couple of days ago. Now, Eric DeCosta had a press conference a little while ago as we're reacting to this live. This is why you subscribe, because we bring you the latest Ravens news and rumors as soon as possible. He was coy when asked about Za'Darius Smith, and this is why. So Za'Darius Smith not signing that deal with the Ravens, and he now remains a free agent. Now, could he come back to Baltimore? I still think there is a path in which that does make sense, and it could happen, but I'm interested to see. Were there red flags in the medicals because he's coming off an injury-plagued year in which he only played one game and then one additional game in the playoffs? Was there something else that transpired where the Ravens wanted to go a different route? This is weird, but we've seen players spurn teams before. Frank Gore, J.D. McKissick, Randy Gregory, now Za'Darius Smith.
Let me just, conspiracy theory. Did he see Von Miller's deal and say, I can get more?
Maybe.
I'm just saying. I mean, he kind of gave Baltimore a 4-year, $35 million. It's not like he's that old. I get it. He was hurt last year, only played in one game. Von Miller's 33, and he got 6 years, $120. I know less than half of that is guaranteed, but that's a pretty wide gap between what he was initially going to get and Von Miller. So we'll break this down in further detail here, give some more analysis and opinions here. But what is your one-word reaction to Za'Darius Smith backing out of this deal with the Baltimore Ravens? Let us know down in the comment section on this one, and we'll give some more analysis after this YouTube ad break. All right, Chase, so Za'Darius Smith backs out. Like you said, maybe they circle back together and agree on a new deal. Maybe a shorter-term deal makes sense since he is coming off the injury. Where do you turn to now? Because your secondary, we've talked about this for the past couple of days after the Marcus Williams signing, it's one of the best in the NFL, but you'd like to have a couple of professional pass rushers. Calais Campbell's a free agent. He's probably not coming back. You would like to get a guy like Za'Darius Smith in there to help you get after the quarterback with that elite secondary.
Yeah, and if Ravens fans are bummed about this, I can see why. This is one of those classic players who Baltimore was able to identify in the 4th round of the draft coming out of Kentucky and showed some flashes of brilliance while with Baltimore and was really able to put together a very, very impressive career. 0 sacks his last year, but really, he started to grow a lot while with Baltimore. 2016, 1 sack. 2017, 3.5. 2015, 5.5. Last year in Baltimore, 8.5. That's what lands him that deal with the Green Bay Packers. Goes on to have 2 really good years. 2019, 13.5 sacks. The following year, 12.5 sacks. So you saw that production, him coming off the injury. Maybe you could have gotten him at a discount rate. Maybe that's why Za'Darius Smith, as you talked about, is going elsewhere because he realizes there's more money on the table instead of a reunion with Baltimore. You ask that question, where do you go now? Still some decent pass rushers left out there on the open market. You're good at corner. You're pretty good at linebacker because you have Patrick Queen and a couple of other decent pieces. You're good at safety. You have Odafe Oweh. You're pretty solid along that defensive line, but there's no doubt you need another edge rusher along this defensive line. Do you go after a guy like Arden Key? I think that could be a sneaky good signing. 6.5 sacks last year with San Francisco. Can play edge, can play D tackle. I love that positional versatility, and I don't think he's going to cost you all that much money. So I'd look at a name like that for Baltimore, maybe an Arden Key type who you can get on a short-term deal worth not as much money as Za'Darius Smith, but maybe you get as much production as a guy like Za'Darius Smith.
If they make a move like that or any other move in NFL free agency, this is the channel for you, our Ravens YouTube channel. If you're watching on Chat Sports, go check it out, youtube.com/RavensTV. If you're watching on our Ravens channel, help us get to 4,000 subscribers. We're just over 250 away. Producer Jeremy Chugg's doing a great job helping grow that channel. Help us out, youtube.com/RavensTV. You mentioned Arden Key. Producer Jack cooking up a quick bio of him here. Had a career year last year with San Francisco, 6.5 sacks. And I saw a report, I believe yesterday or Tuesday,
2 days
that
ago.
He may have to prove it again that before getting a big contract, because he was kind of a bust with the Raiders. Niners brought him in on a bargain deal. He plays pretty well. Maybe Baltimore is the team that says, hey, we'll give you like 1 year, $4 or $5 million. If you ball out, then you can go get paid elsewhere. I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and obviously the premier pass rushers on the open market, they're no longer available just because that is the utmost importance for a lot of teams out there. But there are still good options available. You can talk about the Arden Keys of the world. You can talk about a former first-round pick out of Tennessee a few years ago back in 2017 by the name of Derek Barnett. I think Derek Barnett could really thrive on this defense, and I think Ravens fans would really like a player like that because he's ferocious. He has that competitive nature. He's a bulldog. He's really tough. Hasn't lived up to the billing of being that former first-round pick, but could he thrive and flourish in a defense that lends itself to pass rushers getting after the quarterback, especially with that back end? Because quarterbacks are going to be dropping back to throw, Harrison.
They're going to be
like, yo, Marlon Humphrey's here. Peters is here. Marcus Williams is there. I don't have a place to go to with the football.
Patrick Queen's a good coverage linebacker.
Good coverage linebacker, and that allows these defensive linemen to get home. So Arden Key, Derek Barnett, that's where I'd shift my focus if I was Baltimore.
Speaking of which, name a player that you think the Ravens should sign. And yes, the answer can still be Za'Darius Smith if you want it to be. Get your votes in down in the comment section. Now, we didn't hit this last night, but we did want to mention Anthony Averett signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, so he exits. But Chase, we've talked about this Ravens secondary is loaded. Maybe they need to go out and get a nickel back now or something like that. But you can find guys for cheap. Bryce Callahan's still out there.
For sure.
You could go get a guy like Mike Hughes if you want to go an even cheaper option. But the point being that Averett lands with Las Vegas, so he exits. But I think bringing in Marcus Williams clearly outweighs the loss of Averett.
It helps absorb that blow. Of course, you're paying a lot more money to Marcus Williams, who was the #1 premier safety, according to a lot of people on the free agency market. Averett was great. I think he came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of people. Losing him, a little bit of a blow. Good slot corner last year. Raiders are getting a player who has a lot of toughness to his game. I like that. But look, you have Peters. You have Humphrey. You have Marcus Williams. You're good. Now you have to focus on that edge rusher position.
Grade the moves the Ravens have made so far, A, B, C, D, or F. And if there's more updates, more news, rumors to come around Baltimore, you know where to subscribe, youtube.com/RavensTV.